10 years ago, I was so fatigued, I could barely get out of bed. My brain fog was so bad, I would forget what I was saying mid-sentence. And I was living in the bathroom with constant digestive issues. Listen, I tried everything: biohacking, supplements, functional medicine, restrictive diets. But literally nothing worked long term. And then I discovered the real problem wasn't which diet I was doing or which protocol I was on. It was my intoxicated liver. Over the years, I have done every single cleanse that has been invented. And I can tell you, many of the cleanses that I've done have left me feeling worse. I'd start the cleanse, and when I finished the cleanse, I was in bed for days feeling terrible. But this 4-day liver protocol I'm about to show you is completely different. Because with just 4 days, my energy returned, my digestion cleared up, and my brain fog disappeared. And the secret weapon that made all of the difference, something that most people would never think of trying. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact protocol that's helped transform my health and has helped hundreds of clients do the same. So let's start by explaining why your liver is the most important organ that you're probably not thinking about. So your liver is the body's ultimate multitasker. It is responsible for over 500 different functions within the body. Helps with metabolism, filtering out toxins, digestion, metabolizing fats, and balancing out your hormones. It even helps manage your blood sugar. It literally does so many things. And here's the thing, everything we eat, we put on our skin, we breathe, we drink, all of it gets processed by our livers. And the problem is, modern life throws so much more at our livers than it was evolved to handle. Things like processed food, alcohol, caffeine, environmental toxins, even medications. Essentially, our livers are overwhelmed 24/7. And due to all of these modern exposures, our livers are like filters that never get cleaned. They just keep collecting more junk and junk and junk until our livers become extremely sluggish and inefficient. So here's what actually happened inside your body when your liver gets overwhelmed. So when your liver gets congested, it can't properly break down fat, hormones, and toxins. So essentially it starts to get backed up. And what happens is your body starts compensating. So you'll start pushing toxins out through the skin and also storing those toxins in fat tissue. All of these man-made chemicals today are lipophilic. They are fat attracted and they'll store themselves in the fat. So it's not like your liver is failing, it's just under-supported and it's overwhelmed. It's kind of like a traffic jam within your whole detox system. So the question is, how do you know if your liver is struggling? Here are some common signs that most people ignore. Firstly, and this is a big one, is fatigue. Constantly feeling tired as soon as you wake up, all throughout the day, having constant lapse in energy. The next up is brain fog, so difficulty just focusing and concentrating on even the smallest tasks. The next common sign is skin issues, so rashes, acne. Anything skin related is basically the liver not being supported and pushing things out through the skin. We also have hormonal imbalances, so PMS with women, low testosterone in men, very common when your liver is backed up. And then we have digestive issues, so things like intolerances, indigestion, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, food intolerances, anything that is basically poor digestion is going to be linked back to a sluggish, congested liver. Another common sign is unexplained weight gain, especially around the midsection. The love handles on men, again, common sign of liver issues. And finally, a common sign is bad breath and bad body odor. Again, another sign that toxins are being released through other channels because the liver is sluggish. Now, let me explain how I figured all of this out the hard way. I spent years trying every single biohacking protocol, working with different functional medicine doctors, a whole host of supplements. I was on probably 20 supplements a day. I was doing all the different things. I was doing red light therapy. Anything that I saw, I was doing. Don't get me wrong. I definitely did see improvements in how I was feeling, trying all of this stuff, being super disciplined. But there was always a feeling of frustration because all the work I was putting in, nothing was really working as it should. I was probably feeling 10% better, if anything. So the turning point for me is when I discovered that you could actually cleanse your liver. And I'll be honest, I thought it was BS when I first came across this type of content. But here's the thing, I was desperate and I thought there's no harm in trying at least one cleanse. And by just doing one cleanse, the improvement I saw in how I felt, my energy, my brain fog, it was so much more than doing all of that work I was doing, all the different supplements and the biohacks. I saw such a ramp up just doing this one simple cleanse. It blew my mind. All right, guys. So what exactly is this protocol that changed everything for me? So the protocol consists of doing a coffee enema done once per week for 4 weeks and doing an OMAD diet on those days. So before we jump into the specifics of the protocol, I want to talk about coffee enemas and why they are so impactful and beneficial to your health. Coffee enemas have been used therapeutically for over 100 years. They were discovered by accident during World War I when nurses added leftover coffee to enema solutions for wounded soldiers and noticed remarkable pain relief. German doctors then researched this and found out that rectal administration of caffeine dilutes bile ducts and promotes massive bile flow. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, how the hell did they think, oh yeah, maybe we just stick some coffee up that guy's ass and see what happens? I know, it's mental, but it happened and they saw the benefits. Now, before you think I've lost my mind, let me explain the science behind why coffee enemas are so impactful. Firstly, coffee enemas increase glutathione within the body by over 600%. That is our body's master antioxidant and is really important in helping us detoxify our body. Coffee enemas directly stimulate bile production and help flush out toxins that have been stored in our livers for really years. So in essence, coffee enemas are there to help stimulate bile flow. Bile is essentially what the body uses to push toxins out into the digestive tract. So toxins come into the liver. There's phase 1 and then phase 2 detoxification processing going on in the liver. It pushes those toxins that go from fat soluble to water soluble into the bile. And when we do a coffee enema, we're stimulating the liver to dump that bile so we can get those toxins out of the body. So now let's get into the actual protocol and what you'll need to get started. So the first thing you'll need is a quality coffee. Now, you want to make sure it's mold-free, but ideally you want coffee enema coffee that is Gerson approved. Go on Amazon, there's loads there. Then you want an enema bag. Now, ideally you want to get silicone, which is toxin-free, or a steel enema bag. I just go for silicone. It's relatively cheap. And again, you can buy them on Amazon. You also want some filtered or purified water. We don't want to use tap water at all to make the coffee for the coffee enema. And the last thing you want is a good quality binder. So as we're releasing the bile into the digestive system, there's going to be a lot of toxins that get released into the digestive tract. And we want to make sure that we bind these up. My personal recommendation for doing coffee enemas is to take Zeocharge. You can check out, I've got 2 episodes with Jeff Hoyt on my podcast. So I'll put the link in the show notes below so you can check out those episodes. Zeocharge is great. It's a zeolite binder. There are many out there. You could do an activated charcoal as well. Personally, for me, I like zeolites. So now let's look on how to do the exact protocol and how to do it safely and effectively. So I would recommend you do a coffee enema first thing in the morning on an empty stomach before breakfast. And you want to make sure that you hold the coffee enema for at least 20 minutes. Another pro tip is to do a quick water enema before you do the coffee enema. So basically you clear the pipes out so the coffee enema is only being absorbed into the hepatic portal vein. So in this video, I'm not going to show you the specifics of how to brew the coffee and how to set it up and hang it up on top of the bathroom shower. If that's something that you want, let us know in the comments and we can definitely put a video out for you guys in the future on that. So as I said, you're going to lie down for 20 minutes, make it a real experience. So put a towel down, a cushion, play some nice meditative music, and set a timer for 20 minutes. And when that 20 minutes is up, you get up, sit in the toilet, and you release. Once that's done, I would go take your binder, whether that's a zeolite or an activated charcoal, whatever it is. You want to make sure you take that binder straight away afterwards. You also want to make sure you're drinking plenty of mineralized water throughout the rest of the day. Drinking coffee or doing a coffee enema can be mineral depleting. So we want to make sure we're getting our mineral stores back up. So there's one more critical part of this protocol that I want to talk about. Also, on the day of doing a coffee enema, you're going to do an OMAD style day of eating. An OMAD eating plan is a form of intermittent fasting where you eat all your daily calories in a single 1 to 2 hour window and fast for the remaining 22 to 23 hours. OMAD benefits liver health by promoting cellular cleanup through autophagy, the liver's ability to break down stored fat and reduce inflammation. It can lead to a reduction in liver fat, particularly with people who have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it could also support weight loss, which is a massive factor when it comes to getting healthy. So the question is, on this OMAD diet for the day, what are you actually eating? Your focus is going to be on eating cruciferous vegetables and clean meat. You also want to plan to eat this around lunchtime because that is when your body is most primed to digest the largest amount of food. So cruciferous vegetables contain sulforaphane, a powerful compound that activates the liver's phase 2 detoxification enzymes. These vegetables also boost glutathione, which is the body's master antioxidant and is used in detoxification. In terms of the meat you're eating, you want to go for something like steak or something that's off the bone. And essentially, meat provides glycine and cysteine. And these are amino acid precursors to glutathione, which again is the body's master antioxidant that really helps promote detoxification. So when you combine eating cruciferous vegetables and red meat, you're basically helping phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. So essentially, you're giving the liver the exact nutrients it needs to process the toxins and then push them out of the liver. So one of my clients had major brain fog and fatigue, and it really dominated his day. By 12 o'clock, his brain was pretty much switched off, and he had constant fatigue, drinking stimulant drinks, basically to stay awake and to function. Now, when I introduced the concept of doing coffee enemas and the nomad diet, he was not keen. He was like, nothing is going up there. And I said, listen, I get it. I understand. Just try it and see how you feel on those days. And then ultimately, how you feel as you keep doing it week on week. And I can tell you, within 2 or 3 weeks, he messaged me saying an absolute game changer in how he functions. Not only on the day, you get that kind of post coffee enema high, which we'll talk about, but just how his brain and his energy was functioning moving forward. Because essentially, at the core of it, his liver was working more effectively. After that, he was hooked, and now he drops me a DM regularly telling me how much he enjoys the day when he does coffee enemas and the OMAD diet because of how good he feels on the day and then how good he feels continuously as he keeps doing them. So you also might be wondering, why do coffee enemas when I can just buy some liver supplements or some detox specific supplements? What's the difference? So what makes coffee enemas so unique is its ability to produce bile. Bile is Mother Nature's detergent, is the most underrated element of health out there. No one really talks about it. When you have good bile flow, bile helps us absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamins A, D, K, and E. It helps you break down fat properly, it eliminates toxins effectively, it regulates cortisol and supports hormone production. Trust me, poor bile flow is behind so many health issues today. Things like sluggish digestion, nutrient deficiencies, hormone imbalances, and just basically a toxic buildup in the body. It's all caused by lack of good bile flow. So when you get your bile flow working, everything in your body works better. I'm sure you're wondering, what type of results will I see if I do this protocol? When people follow this coffee enema protocol consistently, they will typically experience the following. So the immediate effects are what I call the post-enema high. These are things like increased energy and amazing mental clarity for hours afterwards. So basically your brain is sharp, you feel lit up, and basically you feel like $1,000,000 throughout the whole day. So after 1 week, this is where we start to remove the congestion within the biliary ducts within the liver. So you'll definitely notice an improved sleep quality as your liver can now process toxins more efficiently during sleep. And overall, your ability to detox will be a lot better because now you're just getting more bile flow moving through the system. When you move into week 2, you'll start to see a significant improvement in some of the target symptoms that you're working on. You'll also notice that energy function starts to also improve as the liver gets back online. And a big thing that I see is digestive function massively improves as bile flow is now moving through the liver more effectively. And because you're releasing a lot of old stagnant bile, the new bile that you're producing will start to absorb all the fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K a lot more effectively. Now, when it comes to week 3 is when you'll see sustained improvement in things like cognition, overall energy, and overall wellness. The bile ducts are now flowing more freely, so you'll get better digestion of fats, you'll get improved hormone balance as your liver processes excess hormones properly, and you'll get clearer skin as toxins now start to move through the proper elimination channels. And then as we move into week 4, this is where we really see the magic. Most clients report a 70 to 80% improvement in energy levels and reduction in brain fog. Basically, your body's natural detoxification pathways are now working more effectively, and you probably feel like you've got your life back because your energy's good and you can start to feel normal again. So I get such remarkable feedback from clients going through this protocol where store-bought cleanses or just taking supplements hasn't worked. From chronic fatigue, brain fog, and digestive issues, this protocol is able to move the needle. So here's how to transition out of this cleanse. So the day after you've done your OMAD style of eating and your coffee enema, just go back to eating your 2 to 3 meals per day. You want to make sure you stay hydrated, and also I would keep taking a binder. Once you start releasing bile out of the system, it is very toxic if you've never done this before, and you want to make sure you're binding up any toxins that are in the system 1 or 2 days afterwards. So again, zeolite or activated charcoal is really good for that. And of course, make sure your water has minerals in it. So you could just do unrefined sea salt or some trace minerals. So one of the questions I get asked is, how often should I be doing this protocol? So this protocol is to be done 1 day a week for weeks. However, if you still feel you're getting the benefits, you can continue doing the protocol weekly. Or you can do a more of a maintenance style approach where you do it 1 to 2 days a month only. So this 4-day liver cleanse can be very powerful. A high functioning liver and optimal bile flow opens up the door for healing so many things: hormones, digestion, energy, even brain function. But here's what I've learned working with hundreds of clients over the years. Doing coffee enemas and OMAD style of eating and cleansing the liver is really just the beginning. If you're struggling with chronic health issues that won't go away, there's usually a deeper root cause that needs to be addressed. If you want to learn how to address the root causes and transform your health, check out this video of my client Therese and the journey we went on to take her from chronic health issues to feeling great again. You can check out the video right here.